Federal student aid serves a particularly important role in helping our nation recover from the economic downturn. Last year, we saw an unprecedented 20% increase in the number of applications filed for financial aid for college. More students than ever qualified for Pell Grants, and more students from all economic backgrounds took out federal loans. In light of the vital importance of federal student aid in these uncertain economic times, it is extremely important that we maintain program integrity and ensure that the consumers and taxpayers are protected. I want to speak broadly about this issue of program integrity, but let me start by addressing the issues raised in the GAO report. As Mr. Scott mentioned, the Higher Education Act requires that an institution participating in the federal student aid programs has to admit as regular students those who either have a high school diploma or have taken the ability to benefit test. These serve as important indicators of whether a student is qualified to study at the post-secondary level. In general, we agree with the findings and recommendations that GAO has made about ATB tests. Even before the release of the report, we had taken steps to improve our monitoring and oversight of the ATB test publishers. The Department of Education now has systems in place to monitor and track the 3-year test analyses required of all test publishers. We are in the process of contracting for the services of independent psychometricians who will review not only those 3-year test analyses, but also any new or renewal requests received from test publishers for approval of those tests. Moreover, the department has begun planning for changes to its school reporting systems that will support student-specific ATB reporting. The results of this reporting will help us to focus our monitoring efforts on institutions that have a high number of ATB-eligible students. Ability to benefit testing is among the issues for an upcoming rulemaking sessions that we started the process for in May. Among the topics around ability to benefit testing that will be discussed in these negotiations are the establishments of controls on individuals who have been decertified by test publishers and possibly more frequent reporting by test publishers. Also at the rulemaking, we will discuss how we might address the problem of high school diploma mills. This could involve regulations, or it might simply involve the department identifying resources for helping colleges to identify legitimate sources of high school diplomas. Mr. Chairman, we expect more than 14 million students to take advantage of federal financial aid in this coming year, and we want to do all we can to ensure the best possible outcome for students, having a real opportunity to gain the skills and knowledge to be successful in the workforce and in their communities. In recent months, the department began to take additional steps to improve accountability. First, we have improved communication and cooperation both within the Department of Education and with other agencies that fund and monitor post-secondary education institutions. For example, our Program Review Office at Federal Student Aid is now linked to the Federal Trade Commission's database of consumer complaints so that we can tap into the complaints that the Federal Trade Commission receives. We have now created a database of state consumer agencies, state attorneys general offices, so that we can refer complaints that we receive to the appropriate state offices. We have expanded a joint project to identify areas that are at high risk for fraud. This is in working with the Inspector General's office at the Department of Education. Second, we have increased our efforts to get more and better information to consumers. For example, now when prospective students are applying for financial aid on the web, using FAFSA on the web, and are identifying the schools that they want to receive their financial aid information, they can see what the graduation, transfer, and retention rates are at those particular schools, giving some initial information to students. We are also looking into ways that we might be able to make better use of the Department of Labor's useful career information. Those are The third area that we are launching is this rulemaking process that I mentioned, where in addition to addressing the issue of high school diploma mills and ability to benefit tests through input that we received starting in May, we had identified a number of areas that we will be working on, such as satisfactory academic progress, links between training programs and specific occupations, earnings and costs of those programs, recruitment tactics, and the role of states. Mr. Chairman, our goal is to further strengthen the integrity of the financial aid programs, and I thank you for the opportunity to testify.